Good morning. Hi. It's Saturday morning. Congratulations. You made it to the weekend. Give yourselves a big pat on the back. Yes, the business of creativity is here. This time it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so we're getting better. Thank you for joining us. We're live again on YouTube and LinkedIn Live. So stop by, send us a comment, join the conversation. We're talking about advertising today. Very excited to talk about this. So just relax, grab a coffee and join in with us. It's been a kind of busy week in some ways. I went to Ibiza for a week. But then I had that shock of coming back to work, and then my daughter started secondary school yesterday, and it kind of made me think, as I was heading off to work, about that long road of secondary school. Very, very long. It felt very long when I was there. And what would you do differently? If you had that time again. I was a bit of a daydreamer. I don't know about anybody else. And when I was supposed to be studying for my final exams, which is the A levels, I was teaching myself Japanese, which was probably not the best idea. But yeah, just thinking back to those days this week, being a bit nostalgic. But anyway, I digress, because today's topic is about advertising. I've got Rie and John waiting to speak with us. So let's head over to them. We've already got someone joining us in the comments. Yeah, here's hi Manaro-san, konnichiwa. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Okay, so without further ado, let's head over to the guys if they're there. Hi everybody. How are you doing? Quick click back to you guys. Yeah, how's it going? Thank you for making it at 9 a.m. on your Saturday morning. How has your week been?
Thank you for your initiative. I was really looking forward to it. Yeah, good to see you, Lucy and John.
Yeah, likewise.
And everyone.
For a while, have we? You've both been on the business of creativity before. I can't remember which episode it was. I think, John, maybe we were episode 4, right back at the start. And then I can't remember the number. Maybe it was 7, episode 7. And somehow we're here back today on, I believe this is episode 17. So thank you. Back, that's lovely. We've got John's cat as well. He's not quite in camera shot, but he has taken up residence on John's lap. He might join in with some commentary for us.
So cute.
Yes. Yeah, and John, I know you've recently welcomed also another new member to your home. How's the little one? How's the little one doing?
Yeah, he's doing well. He sleeps much better than the firstborn, so I look slightly more with it than last time we spoke.
Less, not so much sleep deprivation. And Nia, have you had a busy week? How's it been going?
Actually, it's not too bad. Just lots of things to take care of. But it's been okay. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. It was kind of, I had a holiday, and then it was that massive shock when you go back to work. You're like, oh my god,
I know.
spending a
Back to
week in the
school.
ocean.
I hate that feeling.
Yes, yeah, but yeah, my daughter went started secondary school yesterday, and which is kind of
Hey.
interesting, because I know the ad that you want to talk about is a little bit about sort of this kind of parent-child relationship. So yeah, it's kind of very topical for me at the moment. Yeah, so I know that we have each got sort of some ads that we would like to look at. John, I think you're sort of more like on the billboards theme. Rie, we're going to look at some Japanese ads, and that would be great to sort of see something from overseas. If we've got time, I always love the Campari social media campaign from a few years back, so we'll take a look at that as well. But I know just before we went live on air, Rie, you were talking about advertising, and how it is kind of, it's all around us now. We could say, we're sort of bombarded with it in our daily lives, but just to recap, just sort of take us through that point you were making.
Yeah, I was saying that, before we would see adverts on telly, or, something very similar to it, like on the radio or something, we just couldn't skip it. But now, because we are bombarded by all these adverts, and then also there are only 24 hours a day for each and every one of us. And we used to talk about in terms of what disposable income, but we're talking about disposable minutes here, and we can't stretch it, so there are only 24 hours a day. With money, maybe you can save it and do something about it, but with time you can't. You just spend in 24 hours each day, right? And then people are aware of that, whether they are conscious about it or unconscious about it. And then when we are like hit by just an adverse completely from a complete stranger, we're like, we don't have time for that. It's just waiting for the 3, 2, 1 countdown to skip it. So I think the classic law that you have to give first is here, really. So you have to give something, but it has to be something genuine. So I see that approach here in this adverts. Like if it is too like cheesy or something, it's not genuine. It's boring, dull. So people just skip it anyway. But if there is something, some substance to it, and then genuine story, and then people can say like interpret in their life, you can you can reflect on it, kind of thing. It's so it has a story that you can feed into yourself, and then they like that. They do understand, like we do understand that we are kind of maneuvered into something, but we don't mind that, provided that there is something that you can take away from it. So that was the point I was trying to make. If it makes sense.
I guess it's true, isn't it? Like people want value, people want to be entertained, and it's that kind of exchange, isn't it? I'll spend some time on this if you sort of give me something in return, whether that's entertainment or information that provides value to us. John, I don't know, how do you feel about this kind of idea of being bombarded by this advertising by marketers?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we're streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn and various other places. We all have so much choice in terms of where we consume our information these days in general. Therefore, advertising as a result is more diverse. It'll take advantage of the medium. On television, you're a captive audience. Typically on YouTube, you can skip them. So yeah, you can obviously make a fair point there, Rie, about making an impact immediately. There's so many different places in which we're bombarded with ads. Like you said, it's about kind of it's an oversaturation almost, and you've really got to. And I'm going to discuss that with the billboards that I will show you later. You've got to be provocative. You've got to be innovative. You've got to produce something that will stick with people, because if you don't, they'll just forget it.
and relevant to each individual, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, like when you said about the skipping ads, like you go onto YouTube and it's just like you just wait for that countdown, 3, 2, 1, skip, you know. But it's funny because I find myself, if an ad on YouTube has really good music, I will find myself like listening to the whole thing because I'm just captured by the music. So I have listened to entire ads simply because I just love that. I'm like, oh, that tune is really good, you know. So that's kind of one way that sometimes I find myself staying off that skip ad button. So I guess kind of music also can be sort of a really sort of great element to that. And I think that idea of using all the different senses, you know, not just visual but sort of audio, is really good.
Because people aren't always just watching, are they? A lot of the time,
Yeah.
people are listening.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. I always find on YouTube, I'll always watch a movie trailer. That's, you know, there are certain things where you are interested and it's your thing, and you know, I'll always watch a movie trailer. But I will listen to ads if they've got some sort of music that I'm just like, I really like that. But it's true, isn't it? We are bombarded. I remember in Japan on the trains.
Yeah.
You can have a train carriage that has no advertising, so you can choose to sit in the carriage that doesn't, the car I should say, maybe carriage, you can choose to sit in the train car that has no advertising.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case, but I remember that in Tokyo on commuting, where that was the intent, to allow people a space to sit without being but then again, they're all on their phones, so
I know. Yeah, that's it, really, isn't it? Like, we don't really see, like, literally, you know, well, look at each other. We don't anymore, kind of.
Yeah, on our phones, head down. So and no doubt there's a blast of ads coming from that space. But anyway, let's have a look at these ads that you want to share. So Rie, the first, we'll go first with yours. We've got a Japanese ad here. I'm going to share my screen. So just to let everyone know, it's only 1:19. It is in Japanese. But if you just give us a quick summary, then we'll watch the ad. And then if you can just sort of talk through your thoughts on it, that would be great. So what is the ad we're about to see?
Well, the advert is about Vogue, and because the model, Tominaga Ai, has been a very successful model, supermodel, and I think she started off when she was 17 or so, and then she was fairly, big already at the time, like probably like 20 odd years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And then she started off on Vogue, and then again here. She's in Vogue adverts, basically about cosmetics, like a makeup adverts, I think. But it is really featuring around the shooting in the studio with her and her son in it. They are collaborating for the first time. So, and then they talk about their experience
picture,
from her. Hello?
Can you see this picture, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so this is her. This is her as a teenager, isn't it? Just to give a bit of context there.
I'm just ooh. I only see the screen there. Do you see right, John?
Oopsie, just a sec. Oh. Let me just stop. Okay, keep going. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's okay. And then, so at the time she was only a high school girl then.
Yeah.
But now she's a mother of what's his age? Maybe he's 16 or 17 or thereabout. And then, a lot of people know her like life story, I think. So there are quite a few people must be able to identify some of her life story to themselves and or be inspired and all that. So it definitely had story in it, and you can enjoy it whether you like it or not like it, but it is there, as a food for thought. And then you see the evolution of an individual to individuals, and then also evolution in society, and also the evolution in the relationship between mother and son there, for example. And then by seeing them in the scene, in action, doing these things, just make you like kind of, in a good way, wander off. And, kind of, question yourself, like, what would this mean to me? Or, what would I want in my relationship with with my children or whatever, or
so they're
mother.
actually advertising, it's gender-free makeup. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so she actually talks about it, and he talks about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the quite conservative, well, so to speak, conservative Japanese society. So it can be a bit, good stimuli.
Okay, so they're sort of, maybe potentially challenging some boundaries, but kind of set by society, with this kind of advertising of this gender-free makeup.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to try this again.
We're in it, like we have a constant conquest to challenge that, and for ourselves, and challenge the society as well as like ourselves, right? Like a breaking convention, things like that. So we see that there as well.
Okay, so this is her as a teenager, and she's got her Japanese baggy socks on, which was definitely all the rage sort of 20 years ago. I don't know if it still is, but I remember that when I first went out there, all the schoolgirls wore these big baggy socks. It was just the look to have. It was interesting. And this is her as a teenager. So let's flick over to the ad. We have put some translated subtitles on, but just take it in, and then maybe Leah can just sort of take us through that once it's finished. Here we go then.
最初すごくワクワクしながらスタジオに入ってきたんですけど、今日一日息子がすごい成長しているのを目の当たりにしたので、それが私にとって思い入れのあるモーブでっていうのが何より嬉しいですね。たくさんの人に囲まれて、さらに全てが初めての撮影だったので、本当正直にちょっと緊張で倒れそうでした。そういう場所でお母さんの撮影を見て、やっぱりかっこいいなって改めて尊敬の気持ちが大きくなりました。日本でもそうですし、世界を見てもやっぱりそうジェンダーフリーにメイクを楽しむ風潮があるので、それはとっても楽しいことだと思いますし、もっと自由にこう皆さんが表現できるようなそんな世界になっていくといいなと思います。
Okay, so let's just come back to us. It's interesting. Like that is an interesting ad. The first thing that sort of strikes me when I see this is this mother-son relationship. As a mum, I guess we aspire to being. I don't think many of us look this cool as a mom, and I'm not sure our teenage sons would want to be in a studio with us.
Exactly.
A photo shoot. I mean, I look at her and I'm like, my God, when I go on the school run, I literally have bed hair. I've forgotten to brush my hair. I've run out the door. The other day, this happened to me. Like, I was in the hallway. It was that morning rush. We were in the hallway And I was about to leave the house, and my daughter comes down the stairs. She's like, "Mummy, your hair is such a mess." And I had like really bad bed hair because I hadn't brushed it. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was looking for a hairbrush, and I wasn't. I was literally going to leave. I was going to leave the house. So it's just like interesting to me, like this ad with this mum and son.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sure many of us will qualify to be a cool mum like that. And thinking of like the ad audience,
Yeah.
I'm sure the mums watching this would be like, wow, she's gorgeous, and I wish I was a sexy mum like that.
Yeah.
But from the teenager's perspective, watching that ad, for how many teenagers would get into that? How many teenagers would sort of get into that idea of like, oh yeah, that's I'm going to be watching this photo shoot with this mother and child. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because most teenagers probably wouldn't, but I don't know, wouldn't buy into that. I'm not sure. What do you think, Rie?
And also from the perspective as a parent, like if I put myself in her shoe, and then okay, imagine I'm in the studio, like then what? Here's this photo shooting, and then my son comes in. Well, he's 28 by the way, and then comes in and starts to put on a makeup. I'll be probably taken aback. So that's the honest answer. But having said that, like it doesn't have to be gender free like makeup, or it can be anything. If one of your children is just bound to be one of the LGBTQ, for example, and then when you hear from somebody else, not about your children but somebody else, we can't accept it more easily. But when it comes to your own family, especially your children, then all of a sudden it just kind of strikes differently. You have to come to terms with it, right? And I had those moments, and then I had to kind of face that that, I don't know, like a double standard or whatever, and I had to really come to terms with it. So I think now I'll be cool in being in the studio with my son 28 and then putting on makeup. Probably I'm fine, but it took some time and thinking and working through. That's it. How about you? Can you imagine yourself being there with your daughter, or maybe your son if you have one?
This is the thing. I could imagine that now. We're in a phase, 9 and 11. We're in a phase where at the moment, the kids are okay. They, the YouTube thing, they're like, oh, mummy's got a YouTube channel. I think my time is limited. I imagine in a few years' time, they're going to be like, mummy's got a YouTube channel. I see the thing about this ad is it's one of those ads that you're like, that's cool, and I would love that relationship, or I would love to be that close with my children, and it does kind of inspire you a little bit, as well as the topic of of gender-free makeup and this sort of flexibility, fluidity, and it takes sometimes it takes ads like these and people like these who sort of will bring up these conversations, the mother and son relationship, the gender-free makeup, and it just makes you think in a free way. I don't know what you think, John.
Yeah, I think it's just something quite interesting about masculinity as well. I don't necessarily know too much about the conversations in Japan, relating to sort of gender and masculinity and whatnot. But it is, it's interesting to see a son made up with his mum like that, and just expressing themselves in such a way.
So would you, not necessarily John, although it is, gender-free makeup, but, Rie, is this kind of advertising, does it compel you to go out and buy this, this makeup, or does it put you in a mood for like, maybe I'll, next time you're in the shops, maybe, do you think you might be that step close? Maybe I'll buy that. Is it convincing in that sense, in the real sense of trying to sell this product to you? maybe you'll go out and get yourself some Christian Dior lipstick. Okay.
Only on Saturday nights.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Once we get our social lives back.
With some kinky boots.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have
No,
to be, but yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And during the ad, I think the guy actually just say, I think he said, oh, when I look at my mum, I think, oh wow, she's really cool. And don't, that's really sweet. Let's hope that the relationship is the same, in real life as it is on screen. So thank you for sharing that with us, Rie. That's really interesting. It's always great to see. It's always great to see ads from other countries as well. Not just kind of.
Thank
not
you.
just
I hope you enjoyed it, everyone.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to swap over now to John, because I know John has got some billboard ads that he would like to share with us. So I'm just going to stop sharing here, and we will move our attention to John. So John, I think you were really sort of inspired by some billboard ads that you've seen kind of recently and over the past kind of couple of years, maybe. I think you were talking, weren't you? So just sort of give us a little bit of an insight into what kind of you've enjoyed about them, and then we'll share a few.
Sure thing. So I think billboards, they've always struck me as quite a dated concept, especially in the past couple of years where we've all been at home or hybrid working. Yeah. You're typically relying on pedestrians to walk past and look up, when in reality most of us are looking down. Or people stuck in traffic. Yeah. And they're the kind of people that you're trying to get eyes on your billboard for your advertising. So I think I always thought of it as kind of quite a legacy means of advertising, and perhaps not necessarily that applicable in the modern day, but I kind of changed my mind on it a lot recently.
I think it's
there have been a lot of conversations. Sorry, Karen.
No, you're right. It's had a bit of a comeback, I feel. You
particularly see on like LinkedIn, there's a lot of conversations around that kind of advertising, and that's kind of my point, that these days billboards aren't just for pedestrians looking up and people stuck in traffic. If you do something creative, something genuinely innovative, even a little provocative sometimes, you'll get eyes on it through social media, because social media, you're kind of like getting a dual form of advertising. You're getting the sort of the people on the street looking at it, but then if it's clever enough, people will start tweeting about it.
Exactly.
So I have a couple of examples.
Feel free to share those with us.
I'll share my screen. Both are by BBC Creative, the team at BBC Creative, who I am a massive fan of. I am envious of the talent.
Yeah, it is incredible, isn't it? But you're absolutely right. You see on LinkedIn a lot, or all the social media channels, people have taken a photo of the billboard and then it's just gone viral online, and it's perfect, isn't it? You start off in the physical offline world, and then you're right in the sort of digital sphere. So, and I think that's the great thing about it now. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it feels like it's made a bit of a comeback, and there's been such kind of brilliant examples that it's just really inspiring, and it's just rejuvenated the whole kind of offline sort of advertising. But here we go. So we'll add in your picture. So just talk us through this one then. A lot of people will recognize this, I'm sure.
So when you do billboard advertising, you can either put a picture on a billboard that says, "We were voted Britain's best bank for 4 years in a row."
Yeah.
Great. That's fantastic. I'm really happy for you. Or you can do something like this, where you use the actual medium that you're advertising on to do something genuinely creative. So this was to, as you can see, advertise the BBC Dracula series, which I enjoyed a lot. It was very, very interesting. Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss involved, so I was already sold before I saw the ad.
Right.
But this is the best ad that I think I've ever seen on a billboard.
It's incredible.
This is a time lapse, so you can see we've got the stakes in the
billboard itself. And
you'll see here a little light.
Yes.
Obviously, people who aren't familiar with this, just keep an eye on it as we go through the time lapse.
Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It is unbelievable.
It's so cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And throughout the day, it looks a bit weird. It looks like a murder scene for like most of the day. And then eventually you drive past it at night and it turns into Dracula. And I think it's just phenomenally clever. I've not seen anything done like it.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, and
that's what I mean. Like this is what we were talking earlier about competing attention spans and advertising in so many spaces. You've got to do something like this on a medium like this to get noticed.
I like this.
The team at BBC Creative, they're so good at doing that. They're so good at like just disrupting the norm. Either to send a really important like cultural message or to advertise something that the BBC is doing. They're really. I also really like this "In Case of Vampires Break Glass" bit. You're always focused on that.
It's
clever.
There's a little stake.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, in the daytime, you're going to question why they're all those kind of seemingly randomly placed stakes, sort of knives put through the billboard, and then I guess if you're commuting and that's your commute, you're coming back in the evening and you get your answer. So great. It's
proper old-fashioned storytelling in real time, and I think that's really cool.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's it's this sort of if everybody could do this kind of creative approach to sort of advertising where it's entertaining, it's kind of, it's mysterious because at first maybe you don't understand it, but it's but intriguing, and it's I guess this is what we sort of all want to aim for, don't we? In sort of advertising, like you said, John, you made such a good point where you said about the bank saying we've been nominated Bank of the Year 4 years in a row, versus this,
and also that not everyone would get it, right? Not everyone would get it. Like if you're consumed in this, screen here, then you probably wouldn't notice this difference. So it has to be someone who is paying attention outwards and then just kind of, be interested in what's, happening around you. It has to be that kind of person. You can have exactly the same your newspaper, whatever, in front of you, but you just all the information just passes like that. And some people would pick up something from it. I like this. So clever.
I have another example. It's a little different to this. But it was to promote another TV show of theirs, His Dark Materials, and they created a billboard with, I don't even know how they did this, to be honest. I'm still not entirely sure how they did it, but they just had like this kind of smoke coming out in real time.
I see, yes, because
of Yorick Bernistein's mouth, and it just again it just brings what is quite a sort of flat 2D, ultimately potentially quite boring ad to life. Just literally, I think it's so clever. It's very obviously it's extremely sort of eye-catching, and with that sort of bit of the cold breath coming out, or the warm breath I should say, coming out from the bear's mouth, that is wonderful. And I've seen some other examples in a similar kind of vein to this. I think I told you, John, there was a vacuum cleaner ad on a billboard. It's promoting or advertising a vacuum cleaner. So there's the billboard itself is a picture of a vacuum cleaner sort of pointing upwards.
And then over the billboard is a hot air balloon, at least the balloon part, and as if the balloon has been sucked out of the sky by this vacuum cleaner that is on the billboard. So it's brilliant, isn't it? Sort of, yeah, going beyond the frame of sort of the billboard and sort of, yeah, you know, going out of that sort of frame and then sort of creating something further. I mean, it's brilliant, the ideas behind this. But you know, this argument that sort of people have a lot, which you've probably heard of, like this B2C. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's just such a great idea.
That's very cool.
And
I've not seen that before. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's really
Wow.
a good one. Just as if it's just sucked it straight from the sky because
Yes.
it's that good, you know. But in you know, B2C, B2B advertising, a lot of people will say, oh, you know, B2B is not as good as sort of B2C. We should be taking inspiration from B2C. And again, that the point that you made about the 4 years of being the best bank, like, yeah, maybe B2B can sometimes be too much of that kind of self-centered, very sort of dry, dull kind of approach, and maybe we do need to take some get sort of these creative inspirations from B2C, who are sort of just nailing it and taking these kind of creative risks that are just brilliant. What's this one? Former cabinet minister.
This is a KFC ad. It was when Boris Johnson's cabinet resigned en masse about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
The context, I took this one myself, just in Derby. It made me laugh again, and I shared it on social media, and it kind of blew up. So it's another example of something that is in a shopping centre.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny.
And that's the other thing, isn't it? We're talking about sort of what makes advertising work, and we've talked about sort of these emotional things with the mother and the son, and these topics of sort of gender-free makeup, that sort of emotional. And like pushing boundaries, and also the creative of the Dracula billboard, which is just, it's intriguing, it's brilliant. But then also the final ad that you showed is like very much like going straight in on a current topic and really sort of capitalizing on that. So, you know, when everyone's getting kicked out of the cabinet, and then KFC come up and say that they've got some jobs available. And that's the other, you know, thing that sort of we can all aspire to, isn't it? Is sort of looking at sort of what the conversations are, what's happening out there, and sort of really the timing, sort of being really hot on the timing, and sort of capitalizing on that. But you know, and I know John, especially, you know, you work in sort of B2B marketing, and I suppose we're always kind of looking around for these kind of this kind of inspiration for our advertising, and aspiring to sort of make sort of bolder choices. And it's not easy because inevitably it comes with risk. It comes with people who, you know, there are many different opinions. People will like it, people will hate it. What do? Do you go with, you know, what people kind of pleasing people, or do you sort of go bold, and even though you might sort of upset people, or do you go lukewarm? You know, do you go lukewarm, try to please everybody, and just, you know, that's
throw
probably
another
not
ad into the sea of ads.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, as Rie started at the beginning, sort of we're bombarded with these ads, and it's that way to stand out, isn't it? Because it's so easy to go bland, and you've sort of put that time and energy and money into it, and you're just not going to get anything back because it's washing around in that sea of advertising. So it's definitely
one of the differences, I think, with B2B and B2C is there are a lot more or seemingly anyway, there's my own observation. I may be wrong, but there seem to be a lot more stakeholders involved in B2B marketing. So you have to inevitably be more conservative. I think B2C companies, from some people I've spoke to, they just typically get told to get on with it.
Oh, right.
So, you know, so they can,
but
I don't know,
not...
they can be, they can be a little bit more creative, or like, you know, some B2C companies.
Maybe I'm backing up the
well.
wrong tree completely, but like, do they not set up a persona, like, you know, basically like describing what age group the person is, or gender, and what sort of, you know, like school backgrounds they have, you know, things like that, quite, you know, micro, you know, manage the, you know, the image, and, you know, super focused. Do they not do that in the B2B environment?
Kind of. I think some companies are trying to move away from that a little bit now, because it's quite easy to sort of profile people or create stereotypes.
Interesting.
I'm not a great believer in it myself, but I understand the kind of reasoning for it. I think it depends on your business and who your perceived target market are, and you can kind of build that. An interesting question in the comments.
Was that, should
we may want to field
differences as different?
Oh, let's show this one. Thanks for catching that. Let's see. Should we view cultural differences as different points of compliance to consider, or do we see them as boundaries that may produce inspiration? Our approach to creation will change.
Quite philosophical.
Yes, a lot to digest there. Should we view cultural differences as different points of compliance to consider, or do we see them as boundaries that may... Okay, so we've got to, so dealing with different cultures, or even different sort of, you know, groups of people, we have to think about sort of compliance, or maybe in the sense of sort of doing the right thing, saying the right thing.
Not alienating.
And they could be considered boundaries, or it could, as Manabe-san is saying, it could sort of produce inspiration. So our approach to creation will change. So yes, I think sort of here, I guess we're talking sort of about like diversity, really, and I guess that's another key, isn't it? These sort of creative choices and doing it sort of collaboratively.
Political correct.
Just creating something in collaboration with a sort of a diverse kind of group of people, so that it can inspire new perspectives, which can lead to some sort of better creative choices, I guess. I don't know what you guys think there.
I think it depends on the audience, doesn't it, and the situation. Again, I think B2B, you've got to be sometimes a little more conservative. I don't know.
I feel
another example I quite like, if I may. Actually, on that point, I'll just share my screen. Again, I'm not like shilling for BBC Creative. I do not work for them. I do not get commissioned. I absolutely adore their work. Is they did this fantastic ad this summer for like women's sport. Obviously the Euros was on, England won. And they kind of took the kind of a load of loaded phrases about women, especially in football, about they don't belong there, or you know, they know their place. They should be in the kitchen, or something god awful like that. They took, you know, you've heard it, you've both heard it. And all of these awful cliches and harmful phrases, and they kind of just painted a target on them, and was just like, right, we're going to go for them, and we're just going to invert them and use it as a form of advertising.
And
I thought it was great. I thought it was really, it was provocative. It was provocative, but I think it was on the right side of that. And obviously the Euros was a massive success in terms of audience numbers.
Yeah.
I think advertising helped for it. Putting women's football on at primetime television instead of putting it on at stupid o'clock. It's I think it changed a lot of minds. There was big sea change this summer in women's football.
Definitely.
Exactly.
You can definitely see it, can't you? This and it's going to grow, and obviously people are getting right behind these messages and sort of celebrating this, as rightly they should. So thanks for the BBC for
thank you very much.
Very much. Like I can easily see, I can easily see, when someone's son or sons grow up and saying like, it was my mother taught me how to play football. Because I knew a mother like that in Japan when my son was in a football club. And it was the mother who was teaching. She was really skillful. One of the sons.
That's awesome.
That's very cool though. Like the sort of the mum coaching the football, and
exactly.
We've just kind of seen this ad with the mother and the son advertising the makeup. It's a lot of very sort of emotional themes there that sort of really resonate, these parent and child relationships, and that mum sort of coaching football, very very inspirational there. Quite unusual maybe in Japan, even in this country, but in Japan, for sure. But
that was in Japan, and I was quite inspired by that. Like she was really skillful, and then and then he was actually in the youth team. He was very successful.
Okay.
I think he was quite cool about it. I thought that was all cool. The whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good for her. Mums are rocking it. Every day. And the dads.
and the dads.
You go, Dad. Right. Well, we're coming up to we're almost up at 50 minutes, so we're gonna finish for today. Thank you guys so much for taking part. It's always so nice to chat with you. I know we'll catch up again, but it's been really good. I always say like chewing the fat, but that's always how I see it. It's always nice to sort of sit back with people and just exchange ideas and find some inspiration. So we'll call it a day here. Thank you for everybody that commented in the chat section. Really appreciate people joining in there. This recording obviously will now be available on YouTube, so head on over and you can subscribe to the Business of Creativity over there. So have a great weekend, and we'll catch up again soon. Okay, bye.
Take care, folks.
Bye.